Ice time is limited. You want to make the most of each practice. Here are the 3 ways I would go about doing that. The first way is to warm up physically before you go on the ice. Whether it's jogging, mobility work, sprinting, you want to do that off the ice because when you get on the ice, you want to be able to almost immediately go into any drill or work that you want to do. You don't want to waste time trying to get warm on the ice because most of us only have an hour or an hour and a half to be on the ice, and you want to use that time for skill development and working with your teammates. You don't want to spend the first 10-15 minutes warming up and trying to get your body temperature up to a level where you can start practicing hard. Of course, I'm not saying skip your warm up. If you can't do it off the ice, then do it on the ice for sure. But I'm saying that if you have time before you go on the ice, try to get warmed up off the ice. Do your mobility work, your skating before you put on your equipment or when your equipment's on, so that when the ice is flooded, you can get on the ice and immediately start doing the work that you want to do in that practice. If you're truly serious about reaching your potential in hockey, you're going to maximize the ice time that you have available. So you want to keep the ice time for working on things that you can only work on the ice. Warm-ups, stretching, mobility, that can all be done off the ice to save time. Number 2 is to always have a plan. So you need to have drills that you can go back to that you have memorized in your head. Anytime you have a free moment on the ice, you can work on these drills. You don't want to be standing there with no shots coming at you thinking, what should I be doing in this time? You want to have drills that immediately you can go to them and work on them without even thinking. So whether that's basic skating drills, work around the post, behind the net practice, you want to have a few drills at least, but ideally even more, that you can immediately go to when you have a free moment on the ice. The second part of this is to have one major focus each practice. So you're going to tell yourself, today, this is what is the most important thing for me to focus on. It could be keeping your hands in a certain position in your stance. It could be rebound control. It could be tracking the puck. Whatever that is, have a plan for each practice. So have one thing, at most 2 things that you're thinking about the entire time you're on the ice. If you just go on the ice and you do some drills and you work on whatever's happening in front of you, you just deal with the shots you're getting or the drills that the coach designs for your team, you're not going to maximize your ice time. You want to make sure that everything you do has a purpose and you're progressing every time you're on the ice to a bigger goal, to becoming a better goalie. A really good example of this is focusing on tracking the puck or watching the puck into your equipment. So what you're going to do in that practice is tell yourself, every shot I get, anytime in the practice, I'm watching that puck completely into my equipment or into the net. Wherever it goes, I'm watching it. And when you do this over and over again, it becomes a habit. It becomes something that just is part of you now, and you've acquired this skill. When you have just one focus at practice, it makes it easier to really implement that, learn it, and make it part of you. Having a plan and things you can do whenever you get a chance in practice is the way to level up your skills quicker than anybody else. And number 3 is about being in good enough shape that you can make the most of each practice. If you get tired after 45 minutes and your practice is an hour long, you've wasted 15 minutes of that practice because you're not in good enough shape to keep working hard, to keep making the maximum amount of improvement you could make if you were in good shape and if you weren't tired. Cardio is important for games, of course, but it's also important and I think underrated for practice. If you can keep your energy up all practice, then you're gonna make a much more effective use of your time. You're working on drills with higher levels of energy, so that means better execution, better technique. If you're getting tired, you're going to start becoming sloppy. You're not going to build the right muscle memory you need to really implement something into your game for the long term. The sloppy work in practice turns into sloppy work in games, and we don't want that. If this is the case for you, you're probably going to want to implement more off-ice strength conditioning work. Getting stronger makes everything on the ice easier, and then working your cardio as well is, of course, very important. So I think you'll really benefit from focusing on off-ice fitness as well. If your cardio is lacking, you really need to step that up and work on it because it will interfere with making the most of each practice, and it will stop you from reaching your potential and from being the best goalie that you can be. If this is something you're interested in, I recommend you check out the Goalie Strength Training book at the link in the description below. You'll find a lot of workouts and exercise videos in there that will really help your game. You may think you're working hard now, but there is another level that you can reach, and I promise you that the best goalies in the world are working extremely hard, and there are many goalies that you don't even know about that are working so hard in practice to compete for the same spots that you're competing for. Hockey should be fun, and I'm not telling you what your goals should be, but if you want to be the best goalie possible, if you want to continue to play at higher levels, your work ethic has to be very, very high. The best goalies in the world work really hard, but they also work efficiently. So make sure that you're making the most of each practice by having a plan, by working hard, and by not wasting any time. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.